Well, hello there. Welcome to another J&J Tabletop video. Today we're going to be talking about 5 different Fey takes on existing backgrounds in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. This is going to help you either put together a character for the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, or maybe you're just going to have a Fey theme to your game, and this is what you want to have for your character background.
And maybe a couple more bonus options, but I guess you're going to have to stick around to the end and find out. So jumping right into it with the first option for our list of backgrounds for your Fey-themed character. This one I actually really like. It's called the Crossing Guard, or the Crossing Guardian, rather.
Yeah, this is good.
This one it's essentially some sort of like, whether you take the knight or the soldier or folk hero or outlander background and flavor it where your character, the job of your character is to protect some sort of Fey crossing that exists. That's what you've done for whatever reason. I mean, you could really get down into the nitty gritty and say like you had some deal with this person, or maybe like your great grandmother had this deal with this Fey, that your line would always be really strong and really powerful fighters if you protected that Fey crossing.
I really like that because this particular theme could fit almost any kind of background or class, right? If you want to play an Archfey Warlock, you can, because this is your patron and that's just part of your job. You make sure that this Fey crossing doesn't change much. And if you had watched our intro to the Feywild, you would realize that you can shut down a Fey crossing by drastically altering the landscape on either side of it. So yeah, whether you're just a fighter who's just like you said, Josh, a powerful warrior, whatever the case may be, maybe it's like an oath you take as a paladin, anything, it's your job to make sure that these lands are safe, secure. I don't know, maybe you like the conductor on a train, like tickets please, like they have to like jump through whatever hoops to use the crossing. This is fun. I like the Fey Crossing Guard.
It also it adds some interesting lore to your worlds if that's something that exists. There's so many stories in a lot of different campaign settings of like, oh, you know, like don't go in that area of the forest because there are these wood elves there and they'll just shoot at anything. And whether it's wood elves or whatever, now there's a reason, and it makes sense why anyone who goes to this specific area is getting shot at, no questions asked, because it's your job to protect that Fey crossing.
And yeah, it could be a fun organization to flesh out too as a DM. Another one that I thought would be fun would be, say, a charlatan who has learned to play games and tricks on people from some kind of Fey creature. I'm not talking about like a warlock patron kind of a relationship here. I'm talking about like a little friend, right? Like you're Peter Pan and you have Tinkerbell, and like the whole goal.
Peapod.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a little Peapod for a friend. I love that. But the whole goal here is like you just want to have fun. It's not serious. Maybe the joke could be seen as serious, but maybe it's just like, you know, you got egg on your face, but you'll be fine. You know, that kind of a thing. Whatever the case may be, I feel like this would be a really fun character to play because you could really take a lot of the tension out of the room, and you can really play that character. I mean, maybe a bard here would fit.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, oh my. Just the trouble that a bard could get into on top of their normal just silliness and stupid trouble that bards often cause. And speaking of charlatans, it's no trick that we release videos every week, usually on Wednesdays. So if you're enjoying this so far, just go ahead and click that like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we have more videos like this. Also leave comments because we love that too. But next we have the folk hero. And folk hero is honestly one of my favorite backgrounds in vanilla, and even in this list I really like the folk hero one, because there's just so much you could do with it. And when you're playing an adventurer, so many stories and movies and anything like fantasy theme, whether it's something silly or something super serious, a lot of those main characters that we've grown up on,
yeah,
really they had the folk hero background.
And there's a lot of players come to the table. DM will say, I want you to create a level 1 character, and they'll have this like big backstory. That's like the character you're describing feels more like they're level 12 than level 1. This is almost like a moment where you can be like, can I at least have one really fun, cool thing? Like, well, consider the folk hero.
Folk hero is very much the background for the person who likes to write a big backstory. Whether your character was like blessed by some sort of powerful fae, maybe they have the fae touched feet because of that, or maybe because of that they were able to do something incredible. And we actually have a sub list here of things that they might have done. So one of them would be you went into the Feywild to save a child from a hag. We all know the classic story of hag sends minions, take the child into the Feywild, and all sorts of nasty things happen. Fun part with that, maybe they remember it, maybe they don't remember it. You could make them roll for, if their memory got messed up leaving the Feywild. And then it's this thing where everyone's like, you did this great deed, you saved this child from the Feywild, and you're like, okay.
I do remember spontaneously having a child in my arms, but I don't remember why this happened.
Yeah. Like, I remember wanting to look for him, and I remember having him. Yes. I don't remember anything in between.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And also, maybe you just discovered a Fey crossing. Maybe there was you figured out how it works. Maybe there was some kind of trick to it that you stumbled upon or studied. That could be, maybe you're a studious folk hero. Maybe you're a dashing and brave folk hero. That could be any way you want to go about with that. Or maybe you shut a Fey crossing down because like really weird stuff was going down, and you were like, I gotta protect my peoples. It's kind of a big deal right here.
Another one that I really like is maybe you won some sort of bet with like an archfey, and because of that agreement, your village is now going to be kept safe for like 7 years, and maybe that time is almost up. That's something, if your DM is like, we're going to play an adventure, we're going to go into the Feywild, you're like, here's my reason why I have to go into the Feywild, because it's almost been 7 years. You already have it there, and it's stuff for your DM to play with.
And this random last one I love. You won a race against a quickling, and no one is quite sure how. Maybe you're not even sure how. Maybe you're like Han Solo, like you did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. It's just like, it's not supposed to be possible, but for some reason it happened.
Cheating was definitely involved somehow. But
yeah, definitely. So one background that I feel like doesn't quite get enough love, at least in the games and tables that I've sat at, is the guild artisan. And I thought it might be fun to play a guild artisan that has some kind of an arrangement to get like special wood or materials from the Feywild. Maybe, there's like a special kind of silk that you can only get there. And maybe they build trinkets, or there's something special about what they do that these goods are just unlike anything that anyone has ever seen before, and they're like the only person that can make it. This might be a fun NPC idea too, by the way, but because of that, they're able to drive the prices up, and it's fun for whatever reason. Just their craftsmanship is just at another level, and it's because of the materials that they have. Yeah. I think that would be a very fun character to play.
Even kind of like piggybacking from that, maybe it's like, as a guild artisan, yes, you brokered some sort of trade deal with the folk of the Feywild, and then as a result of that, it's like whether you receive the trinkets or you get the material, or maybe it's something more than that. Maybe your deal is like, yes, you get all of these things, but, because there's always a but in the Feywild, right? No matter how much you sell, you'll never be rich, right?
Ooh, yeah, I like that a lot. Almost like a variation on like Midas Touch. Fairy tales. I mean, this is really the crux of the kinds of stories you can tell with the Fae. It all makes sense if you think about it. And
that one also gives a character a reason to go back into the Feywild, because maybe he's like, all right, I need to change this deal. Listen.
These taxes.
Or maybe like you captured some sort of pixie, and then the pixie like blesses everything that you create, or maybe curses everything you create. And then you could get all sorts of crazy with this is one you would really have to talk to your DM about, because then like maybe every item that you make that the pixie touches is either like blessed or cursed with some sort of like minor effect. I won't bore you all with the details of what minor effects they might be, but maybe if you want them, then leave a comment and maybe I'll respond with some ideas that I have. I don't want
to have to ask, and nicely.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to derail us too much.
I think we may be into bonus territory here now, Josh. And you referenced the Fey touched feat earlier in the video, and I think if you want to have more of just like a little sprinkling, like a little Fey seasoning, instead of like a full firmly planted in the Fey, maybe there's just a singular event that happened that exposed your character to the Feywild, and that's why you have this Fey touched feat. Whether you're playing a human variant or the custom lineage options that you can use in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, or maybe you're even using one of the Fey race options to inspire and then customize with the video that we made as part of this guide to the Feywild.
Those races are official now, by the way.
Oh, they did that?
Yeah, they did that. Yeah.
Yeah, we called it. But think of some kind of single event, right? So maybe tales speak of children kidnapped by Fey creatures and spirited away to the Feywild, only to return to their parents years later without having aged a day and with no memories of their captors or the realm they came from. That's in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Maybe you are that child, and so you have the Fey touched feat. Boom. Now you have Misty Step and another, I think it's enchantment spell that you could choose from, and you can just do that once per day. That's an easy way that you can incorporate a little Fey flavor.
Yeah. And I was actually going to mention 2 more backgrounds that when we originally wrote these notes didn't exist, but now that Wild Beyond the Witchlight is out, we do have 2 backgrounds. One of them is very similar to what Jake just came up with, which is Fey Lost. Essentially, you grew up in the Feywild after disappearing from your home plane as a child. Perhaps you were spirited away by kindly Fey who thought you were destined for great things. Perhaps you stumbled through a Fey crossing by chance during a twilight stroll in the woods. Or maybe you were kidnapped by an evil Fey, but escaped their clutches. And there's all sorts of like benefits and fun things that they have in here for it. And that just goes to show you that Jake, that was a good idea, and I like that option. Another one that they threw in here is Witchlight Hand, and that essentially, one way or another, the Witchlight Carnival, which is something that exists in the Feywild, and if you're going to be playing Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign, that's the focal point, and you'll be able to get a lot more information on it if you play that campaign. Whether you worked there previously or currently work there, you used to help out at this carnival. It's cool to have some Fey-themed backgrounds, like some official ones now, too.
Yeah, I agree. The Feywild is a subject that I think has always needed a little bit more pulled out of it. I mean, they give you 2 or 3 paragraphs in the DMG, and that's kind of it. But it's yet just little hints of it all over the place, whether it's, just elves in general, pixies, monsters that they have, or creatures, whatever you want to call them.
If I'm being honest, still needs more fleshing out.
Yeah.
Like, the Feywild, really, like, this is to you, Wizards of the Coasts. Making an adventure for the Feywild was the easy way out. We still want a Feywild supplement. Please make that happen at some point.
Yes.
We love you, but we just want you to just do that, because that would be great.
But if you did like this video, don't forget to give it that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that too. We're going to have a whole bunch of other playlists and things, whether it's the pinned comment or in the description itself, to talk about more Feywild things and just other topics in Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing games. So thank you so much for watching, and you should watch the end screen. It's going to be fun.